32 million. And I need an extra man.
I came to you for a loan.
Look, have I ever gotten you anything that I couldn't get you out of? It's time for you to do something for your family. What can I do you for, officer?
Meet Will Sharp, an Afghanistan Marine veteran. That morning, he was on the phone with the state insurance office, trying to cover the cost of his wife's cancer surgery. But the insurance company refused, claiming her illness wasn't covered. This news crushed him. After years of serving his country, risking his life, he now feels completely abandoned. Not wanting to upset his wife, he lies and tells her the insurance was approved.
We got it, baby. Insurance coming through.
Desperate for money, Will heads to his adoptive brother Danny's house. Unlike Will, Danny is a notorious bank robber in Los Angeles. Their father was a thief, so Danny grew up learning the trade, while Will chose a different path by serving in the military.
I know you and Dad had shit, I had shit with Dad. None of that changed anything between you and me. At least I didn't think so.
Will pleads for financial help, but despite their brotherhood, Danny refuses to simply lend him the money. Instead, he offers Will a deal. Join him in a $32 million bank heist.
First federal downtown, 32 million. I have this wired. I'll fuck up because the feds are vacuuming up paper, but I need another man. 4 inside and 1 driver. Feds are moving it out tonight after hours. We get in there now, it's ours.
Oh, Jesus.
It's ours.
Danny.
It's been months of Will trying to find a loan, but nothing worked out. Eventually, with no options left, he had to give in and agree to Danny's plan. Sometimes, life doesn't just hand you lemons, it throws the whole lemon tree at you. In another location, we meet EMT Cam Thompson. Along with her partner, EMT Scott, she's rushing to the scene of a car accident. The moment they arrive, Cam immediately steps in to help a young girl who's badly injured. She's got a piece of metal stuck in her, and it's not the kind you can just pull out like a loose tooth.
What's your name?
Lindsay.
Lindsay, my name is Cam. Okay, I'm gonna be helping you, okay? Now I need you to do something for me. Can you be brave? Can you do that?
I could be brave, yeah.
When you hear that loud sound, you're gonna squeeze my hand really tight, and whatever happens, you're not gonna let go, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
While the officers carefully cut the metal from behind, Cam stays calm, soothing the terrified child. The rescue goes off without a hitch, and the kid is rushed to the hospital. Later, during lunch, Scott excitedly tells Cam that the child's condition is improving, but Cam, she barely blinks. "Don't take it to heart," she says, as if she's just discussing the weather. Her partner, utterly confused, wonders how someone so seemingly cold-hearted could choose a job where saving people is a daily task. Guess not everyone is in it for the warm, fuzzy feelings, right? Meanwhile, Danny and his crew of bank robbers were busy at work. After disabling the building's CCTV, they stormed in, taking control of the place in no time. Everything was going smoothly until Officer Zach showed up.
Why is it locked?
I don't know why it's locked, but it's locked. Hold on.
Danny, thinking on his feet, pretended to be the bank manager, claiming the bank was closed for the day. But Zach wasn't having it. He insisted on going inside to meet his girlfriend, who happened to work there. Left with no choice, Danny allowed him in. Zach, unaware of what's going on, tries to chat with his girlfriend when, out of nowhere, Danny pulls a gun on him.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. These are the decisions that matter in life, so let me give you all the information before you decide. I have 2 guns, fully auto. One's aimed at you and the other one's at Kim, your girlfriend. And I have you, the tellers, and 9 employees in the back, and your partner outside. And it's up to you to make sure that they are all safe.
Things escalate quickly. Danny orders Zach to wave at his partner, Officer Mark, who's waiting outside, signaling that everything's fine inside. But Mark's no fool. He notices Zach acting suspiciously and immediately realizes his partner is in trouble.
$32 million, guys. It's all yours. Please take it. We don't want any problems. I'm out of here. Thank you.
The LAPD's Special Investigations Section is called in, and before long, they take down all of Danny's men. Now, it's just Danny and Will left. In a desperate attempt to escape, they take Zach as a hostage, dragging him through the basement. At some point, Zach tries to fight back, attacking Danny. In the chaos, Will panics and shoots Zach, gravely injuring him. Guilt-stricken, Will tries to help, but Danny insists they leave Zach behind and get out fast.
Just take 1 second in your mind to see how this looks. We gotta go. We have to go. Let's go. Right now. Move. Move!
Meanwhile, Mark and the LAPD storm the bank, searching for Zach. When Mark finds his partner seriously injured, he shouts for help. EMT Cam Thompson, arriving on the scene, hears Mark's cries and rushes in, ignoring police orders. She manages to get Zach into the ambulance and works tirelessly to save him. Elsewhere, Will and Danny are still trying to slip past the police when they spot the ambulance. Without hesitation, Danny hijacks it, attacking Scott, Cam's partner, and tossing him out. Just in case things go south, they take Cam as a hostage. As they speed toward the exit, the place is swarming with cops, but somehow, they manage to break through without raising suspicion.
I got an officer down! I got an officer down, I'm going to Memorial.
Wait, check inside. Who is it?
I got a cop shot. We gotta go. Move your cars. We gotta get him to the hospital. Move! It's a cop! Let me do my job. What are you doing? Go!
After their escape, Mark finds Scott lying on the basement floor, barely conscious. Scott manages to tell him that the robbers hijacked the ambulance. Without wasting time, Mark radios the officers, but it's too late. The ambulance is long gone. As Mark steps outside, Captain Monroe, the leader of the investigation team, arrives on the scene. Trying to keep Mark calm, Monroe promises that they'll rescue Zach before sunset. He immediately sends a police helicopter to track the ambulance. Meanwhile, inside the speeding ambulance, Cam spots a fire extinguisher and hatches a risky plan. Waiting for just the right moment, she sprays Will and Danny, attempting to escape. But the plan backfires. Literally, she doesn't make it far before getting caught again.
Stop it! Come back here now! Turn around and go, come on! We do not have time!
Just as the situation gets tense, Zach begins convulsing. Will, already feeling guilty, begs Cam to return to the ambulance and help save Zach's life. Back at HQ, the police helicopter finally reports they've found the ambulance's location. Captain Monroe wastes no time, ordering his team, along with Mark, to pursue it. He also requests more helicopters to ensure they don't lose track. Meanwhile, Zach's condition worsens inside the ambulance. In a rare moment of teamwork, Cam and Danny rush to put on medical equipment while Will floors the gas pedal, trying to outrun the cops. After several tense moments, they manage to stabilize Zach. As the chase intensifies, Danny calls his old buddy Poppy, a mafia boss, and an old associate of Danny's father. Danny offers him $8 million in exchange for getting him out of this mess. Poppy, loyal to Danny's father, agrees without hesitation, and they arrange a meeting under a bridge in the city. With time running out, Danny also contacts another friend, Castro, telling him to bring a blue spray can to the bridge, setting up another part of his escape plan. Meanwhile, Captain Monroe tries a different tactic. He connects to the walkie-talkie inside the ambulance, attempting to talk Danny into surrendering. Monroe tells Danny that the police have the upper hand and that this whole escape plan is doomed to fail. But Danny, ever defiant, furiously yells back that he's America's greatest robber and that a small-time chase like this won't stop him. As things finally seem to calm down in the ambulance, Cam notices blood dripping from Zach's body. She quickly tells Danny that Zach is in critical condition. He needs surgery, and fast. But here's the catch. She's just an EMT, not a surgeon. There's no way she can perform this kind of operation on her own. Desperate, they contact a hospital doctor, asking for step-by-step instructions on how to remove the bullet remotely.
I need you to walk me through a GSW to the abdomen.
What are you talking about? You're not a surgeon. You can't do that.
Danny reluctantly agrees to help by taking the wheel, while Will joins Cam to perform the surgery. Through a video call, the doctor carefully guides them on how to remove the bullet from Zach's spleen. The catch? They only have 60 seconds to pull it off. Any longer, and Zach's spleen will rupture. The tension is sky high as Cam carefully follows the instructions. But despite her best efforts, Zach's spleen still ruptures. Miraculously, Zach survives. But it's a close call. Back on the ground, just as Captain Monroe is about to join the pursuit, he's approached by FBI agent Anson Clark. Clark insists on tagging along, explaining that he knows Danny all too well. According to Clark, Danny isn't just any bank robber. He's one of the most dangerous criminals the FBI has been hunting for years.
Danny is a different breed. He could have easily killed your cop back there at the bank, but he didn't. He is looking for a way out.
How do you know that?
We used to be friends.
Clark offers some tactical advice, suggesting that Monroe's team switch vehicles every half hour to throw Danny off their trail. Meanwhile, the doctor who helped Cam with Zach's surgery calls Monroe devastated. The video connection had cut off just as the surgery was being performed, and assuming the worst, the doctor tells Monroe that Zach likely didn't survive. Monroe, already frustrated, loses it and orders his team not to hold back anymore. He gives the green light for them to take out Danny on the spot, no questions asked. As the chase intensifies, Clark suddenly feels uneasy and calls Cam, urgently telling her to duck just before snipers are set to fire. Seconds before pulling the trigger, Clark learns from Cam that Zach is still alive. He frantically radios in, stopping the snipers in the nick of time, but the damage is done. Furious, Danny blames Monroe for the near miss and swears that if anything happens, he'll kill Cam without hesitation. Cam notices Zach starting to bleed again. Panic sets in until they discover that Zach's blood type matches Will's. Without hesitation, Will agrees to donate blood, surprising Cam. Up until that moment, she had never seen such a selfless act from someone on the wrong side of the law. As Will donates blood, he shares a bit of his story with her, explaining how he ended up in this mess. He didn't want to rob a bank, but his hands were tied. He needed the money for his wife's cancer surgery, money the government refused to provide despite his years of military service. Cam sees him differently now, a good man in a terrible situation. Hours pass, and the tension grows as the police close in. Danny, ever the aggressive one, urges Will to floor it, desperate to gain some distance from the cops trailing behind. Finally, they arrive at the meeting point. Castro is there, waiting, and gets to work, quickly painting the ambulance to throw off the police. At the same time, Poppy's men arrive with several other ambulances to act as decoys, creating confusion for the cops. Just as it seems their plan might work, Captain Monroe orders all available units to storm the area. As they prepare for a massive takedown, something catches their attention, a suspicious car creeping toward the scene. Then the truth hits hard. Poppy's son, Roberto, had set up a deadly trap. The car is rigged with machine guns and explosives. In a matter of seconds, chaos erupts. The explosion is deafening, and deadly gunfire breaks out, catching the police completely off guard. Bodies hit the ground as officers are killed or gravely injured in the deadly ambush. Meanwhile, Mark spots Roberto trying to make a getaway. Without wasting a second, he gives chase and, after a tense pursuit, catches up to him. But Roberto isn't going down without a fight. In the scuffle that follows, Roberto ends up dead. News of his son's death quickly hits the airwaves, and Poppy, filled with rage and grief, watches on TV as tears of fury stream down his face. Losing his son to this chaotic mess has pushed him over the edge. Back on the road, Will, being a skilled driver, pulls off some impressive moves, managing to outrun the police in a high-speed highway chase. Eventually, they reach Poppy's place. Before stepping out, Will warns Cam to stay inside the ambulance no matter what happens. She nods, nervous but trusting his words. Just after Will leaves, Zach stirs awake. Weak but conscious, he whispers to Cam, telling her to grab the hidden gun in his shoe, just in case things go sideways. Inside the hideout, Danny meets with Poppy, handing over the promised $8 million and offering his condolences for Roberto's death. But Poppy isn't having it. To him, no amount of money can ever replace his son's life. $8 million, that's an insult. He wants blood, Zach's and Cam's to be specific. He demands that life must be paid with life, and he's dead set on revenge. At this point, Danny tries to strike a deal, willing to negotiate, but Will's moral compass kicks in. He's had enough. Tired of the violence and bloodshed, Will refuses to stand by and watch more innocent people die. "I served this country to protect lives, not take them," he tells his brother, his voice firm. He knows what it means to be a soldier, to defend the helpless, and he won't let Poppy's thirst for vengeance destroy more lives. Danny, already on edge, warns Will to stay out of it. This isn't the time for heroics. But Will, driven by his conscience and anger, refuses to back down. Enraged by Will's defiance, Poppy orders his men to kill him on the spot.
Go left. Go left.
The tension in the room spikes as the threat of violence hangs heavy in the air. Amid the chaos, Will opens the ambulance door, and a terrified Cam acting on instinct accidentally shoots him. Danny sees his brother collapse, panics, and floors the gas, racing to the hospital. He has no idea Cam fired the shot, assuming it was Poppy's men who hit Will during the chaos. Meanwhile, Cam is desperately trying to stop Will's bleeding. Despite his critical condition, Will pulls out a wad of cash and pleads with Cam to take the money to his wife for her surgery. With the police closing in, the chase leads them to the hospital. As soon as the ambulance stops, officers surround them, guns drawn, preparing to move in. While checking on Will, Danny spots the gun. His immediate thought is that Zach shot his brother. Cam, however, steps forward and confesses that she was the one who accidentally pulled the trigger, explaining that the terror at Poppy's hideout made her act impulsively. Danny is furious. Trapped by the police, Danny knows there's no way out. With nowhere to run, he devises a twisted plan. He decides to drag Cam down with him. Knowing that stepping out of the ambulance means getting sniped on the spot, he resolves to make a final, brutal statement. He wants the world to see him as America's greatest criminal. Danny plans to shoot Cam on live TV, aiming for infamy. As he slowly opens the door and starts counting down to his grim finale, something unexpected happens. To end his brother's madness, Will, despite being badly injured, makes the ultimate sacrifice. He kills his beloved brother, Danny, to stop the nightmare from spiraling any further. From a distance, Will's wife arrives, her voice cracking as she calls out for her husband. Hearing her cries, Cam stands up, determined. She tells Mark that her job as a paramedic isn't over yet. Will saved Zach's life, and now they need to save Will. Initially hesitant, Mark listens and finally agrees, helping Cam get Will into the hospital. With her duty complete, Cam quietly slips the money Will gave her into his wife's bag, ensuring his final wish is fulfilled. Afterward, Cam visits the little girl she saved earlier that day, holding her hand and offering comfort. The day's events have changed her deeply. She realizes that helping people is not just part of her job, but a fundamental human responsibility. In Zach's hospital room, when Mark asks him to testify, Zach simply points at a photo of Will and says,
He saved my life.
Well, that's the end of this recap. Consider subscribing for more stories like this.